Hello, good afternoon everyone. Today we are going to start next point, that is LPC 2148, right? So here in front of you, you can able to see a kit of that LPC 2148. It is an ARM 7. Okay, so over this board you can able to see the ARM 7 board. Okay, it carries a ARM 7 processor. Okay, along with the on-chip board. Okay, now again I am showing you the alternative. Okay, this is a professional board available in the market. Okay, most of the professional are adopting such types of board. Okay, for their product prototype designs, right? So here you can able to see many things are available for small scale, medium scale or large scale product designs point of view. Over this board you can see in the center there is a chip along with the crystal oscillators. Similarly, the pins are surrounded with this processor, and many peripherals are available. Okay, now the this board having the chip along with the board peripherals. Okay, so that's why here many peripheral are available, like first is 2 by 16 character LCD display, then UART 0, UART 1. Okay, then USB reset switch is there, then ISP connector is there, then power supply. Okay, then VGA connector is there, SD or MMC card point of view. There is an on off or interrupt buttons. Okay, then there is a buzzer, JTAG controller, audio. Okay, audio jack will be there, then PS2 serial communications, set of LEDs will be there. Okay, similarly trimmers are there for adjusting the ADC or DAC signals, right? So this type of board are available in the market. You can able to choose it for your prototype designs point of view. uh, Now, to give the features point of view here, I am giving you first of all the on-chip peripherals which are available. I have listed it like ADC. Okay, these are the this is a list of various on-chip peripheral devices that are not shown in the last slide, but they are available with the board, right? So here you can see these on-chip peripheral like ADC, like analog to digital converter, then brown out detections, BOD, then a CPU central processing unit is there, then a digital to analog converter is there, then debug communications channel is there, direct memory access controller, first in first out, GPIOs, PLL, power and resets, PWM, power pulse width modulator. Okay, similarly you can see RAM, ROM, types of RAM, random access memory, serial peripheral memory, serial peripheral interface is there, then static RAM is there, SSP synchronous serial port, then UART is universal asynchronous receiver transmitter, then USB universal serial bus, then VPB is a VLSI peripheral bus. So many peripheral are there on the chip with these ARM 7. Okay, that are listed with these slides. Now I am giving a brief about the features. As we have already learned about the ARM 7 features, so I am extending that features with the present features of the ARM 7. Actually, whatever feature I taught, that are from 2008 or 9, but nowadays such board is available in the market, You can whenever you choose it for your any application. So in 2018 or 19 that I have collected these features of this board. Near about it has 16-bit or 32-bit ARM7 TDMI S microcontroller in tiny LQFE 64 pin package. It is available. It has 8 KB to 40 KB on chip static RAM, then 32 KB to near about 512 KB of on chip flash memory, then 128-bit wide interface or accelerator enable high speed 60 megahertz operations are possible. In system programming or in applications programming via on-chip bootloader software is available. It has single flash sector or a full chip erase in 400 milliseconds and programming of 256 byte in 1 milliseconds. It has embedded IC RT and embedded trace interface offers real-time debugging with on-chip real monitor software and high-speed tracings of instructions executions. It has a USB 2.0 full-speed compliant device controller with 2 KB of endpoint RAM. Similarly, some additional features that I highlight here. In addition, the LPC2148 provides 8 KB of on-chip RAM. It is accessible to USB by DMA controller. One or two 10-bit ADCs provide a total of 6 or 14 analog input with conversions time as low as 2.44 milliseconds per channel. It has a single 10-bit DAC. It provides variable analog output. Two 32-bit timer or external event counter are present. Okay, it has 4 capture, 4 compare channels. It has a separate PWM in it. It has 6 output and 1 watchdog timer will be there. Okay, I give you everything, each and every point explanations in the further slides. Okay, but at this moment just I am giving you the idea about these features. It has low power real-time clock with independent power and near about 32 kilohertz clock input. It has a processor wake up from power down mode via external interrupt. It has a CPU operating voltage range is between 3.0 volt to near about 3.6 volt. Most probably 3.3 volt plus minus 10% tolerance get considered for the external power supplies with 5 volt tolerance IO pads. Similarly, here you can able to see multiple serial interface. It includes 2 UARTs. UART number 16C550 will be available with 2 fast I2C bus near about here that will work over 400 KB per second. SPI and SSP facilities there with buffering and variable data length capabilities. As concerned with the interrupt, here a vectored interrupt controller with configurable priorities and vector addresses are there. It has up to 45 of 5 volt tolerance fast general purpose IO pins in a tiny LQFE 64 pin package. 60 megahertz maximum CPU clock will be available from Programmable on-chip PLL with a settling time of 100 milliseconds. Uh, it has on-chip integrated controller, operates with an external crystal oscillator from 1 megahertz and 1 megahertz to 25 megahertz. It has power saving modes that are available as you are in microcontroller. Very similar features are available like ideal and power down facility. Individual enable or disable of peripheral functions as soon as peripheral clock scaling for additional power optimizations facility will be available. So this will be about the many features that I listed in this slide. Okay, so I hope this will be enough for your understanding about the ARM7 LPC 2148. Actually this will be the series that I listed here. Okay, here you can able to see 2141, 2142, 2144, 46 and 48. All these processor are very similar feature, having similar features. Only one or two features will be different. So you may choose anyone, but as concerned with current market, you can able to see LPC 2148 is most popular as compared to these other one. See now in front of you, you can able to see internal structure of architecture of ARM7. Okay, so here if you look carefully in the, if I am moving my mouse cursor over that, okay, here it is highlighted like ARM7 TDMI-S is a processor. Okay, so on the top center there is a processor. Actually this is CPU and others are onboard peripheral. So this will be entire ARM7 board structure. Okay, last slides means near about 5 to 6 lectures before, so we already learned about the architecture of this ARM7. Okay, but in that only that architecture of that ARM7 was shown. Now here ARM7 is shown as one square box, but now here you can see many peripherals are available with this ARM7 board. Okay, near about 30 to 40 on chip boards are there. Okay, that you can use for your applications. Okay, I am giving you a brief highlight about all these sections one by one. Okay, here at the center you can see, at the top center you can see that ARM7 TDMIS. Okay, above that you can able to see test or debug interface will be there. Okay, its purpose is to test or debug the interfacing, so that's why the external pins are linked with that board. Okay, link with that box. Okay, similarly at the side of that you can able to see emulations or trace model, so you can able to connect any kind of emulators or any tracers for debugging point of view. Okay, so you can able to do the programming with the help of emulators, right? Bottom of that ARM7 TDMIS you can see ARB bridge. It is linked with the various peripheral that we already learned, we already seen in the last few slides as a advanced microprocessor bus architecture. Shortly we will say it is an AMBA architecture. Okay, so that's why that AMBA architecture is shown below that AHB bridge, right? So there is an advanced high performance bus that is AHB will be there. Below that you can able to see many blocks sections are there. Out of that, few are related to the flash memory, some are related to the RAM, some are related to the SRAM. Okay, so here you can able to see many sections are there. Okay, so I am going to tell you one by one. So as I am starting from the right hand side, there is an AHB decoder. AHB decoder is used for decoding whatever the high performance bus, okay, will be communicating. So that's why here most of the time there will be a co-processor or any processor, math processors will be communicating. So that's why if they it sending any kind of instructions or any data or any command, so that's why that will get decoded with the help of that AHB decoder unit. Second is a 8-bit KB, 8 KB RAM shared with USB DMA. Actually, it is an 8 KB RAM. Generally, here for USB communications point of view, here a direct memory access controller is linked. Whenever you will transfer the data, so that's why here from the memory to the peripheral or memory to the IO devices, here the fastest data transfers point of view, here separate 8 KB RAM is shared with the USB DMA, so that's why this memory will be available. Then the third block is there, it is divided between the uh, VPB divider and AHB to VPB bridge. Okay, so we will see what is that VPB bridge and what is that VPB divider will later on in the further slides. Now I am going for the next one block, that is an 32 KB or 64 KB or 128 KB or 256 KB or 512 KB flash memory. Actually it is an selectable memory, it depend on your user requirement or designer requirement point of view. That memory will be selected by the manufacturer or customer. This flash memory is the fastest memory for doing the data storage as well as program handling point of view. It is linked with that internal flash controller. Okay, so that's why there is an flash controller that is linked with your ARM7. Okay, so that's why you can able to read or write data at fast rate. So that's why also you can able to execute your program. Similarly, another sections are near about 8 KB or 16 KB or 32 KB SRAM, static RAM will be there. It is temporary memory. Okay, it will hold your data as long as power is on. So that's why internal SRAM controller is linked with this memory. Mostly whatever data is coming from the general purpose input output lines, that is IO lines, okay, that will be held by the static RAM, and then as per the directions of the controller, it will get stored, written it into the memory, flash memory. So this will be the sections that are below that AHB bridge. Okay, similarly left side you can see a fast general purpose IO block will be there. The purpose of that block is to do the IO communication. So that's why near about remember ARM7 has two ports, port 0 and port 1. Every port has near about 32 IO lines. So these lines are linked with these fast general purpose IO block. Now in the right hand side you can see there is a system function. Xtel1 and Xtel2 are the crystal oscillator, okay, terminals. So that's why one is in and one is out. So that Xtel1 will be the input, will be giving the clock. So that's why that clock generation is possible with the help of that system function. It will be linked with that PLL 0 and PLL 1. PLL 0 will generate the system clock and PLL 1 will generating the USB clock. So we will see it later on what the use of PLL. Okay, then external 1 is inward signal and external 2 is an outward signal. So that's why external 2 is linked with the external peripheral. The internal clock will get shared with the external peripheral or the IO devices. Then a reset button will be there, that is helping you to restart the entire chip, that controller, as well as on chip board. Then below you can see after the AHB to VPB bridge, it is linked with the many peripherals like external interrupt. In left hand side we can see the external interrupt will be there. Okay, it is used for accepting the external interrupt. Then there is an capture or compare W or external clock, timer 0 or timer 1. Actually it is a timer and counter circuitry. So you have a total 4 capture. Okay, similarly you can handle these 2 timers, timer 0 and timer 1, for the timing counting actions. Then A to D converter will be there. Near about there are 2 types of A to D converter will be there. So that's why ADC 0 and ADC 1 will be written. Near about 12 bit or to 14 bit ADC will be there for analog to digital converter. Then digital to analog converter is there. Its purpose is to do the conversion of digital bits into the analog one. Then again you see general purpose IOs will be there. So GPIO registers are there. Okay, so that's why these GPIO register are also providing you a ports. Okay, so in a top leftmost corner we see a fast general purpose IO. So it is also an fast GPIOs, and here it is a general purpose IOs. Okay, so there is some difference between these. Okay, GPIOs. So upper top is a fast GPIO, and here it is a general purpose input output. So that's why again it has 2 ports like port 0 and port 1. Okay, the same line are configured here also. There is no any change. Okay, only the difference is that whether we are going to handle it for general purpose point of view or a fast point of view. Okay, so that's why there is an programming options that you can handle, whether you want to handle it for general application, general purpose data transfers point of view, or the first stage data transfers point of view. It will be depend. Okay, that programming options will give you a key how to switch it between that general purpose IO or first general purpose IO. So remember one thing here, it has near about 2 ports, so that's why every port has near about 32 lines. So total 64 lines are available. Ports names are port 0 and port 1. Okay, so pins are starting from 0 to 31. Similarly here you will see a pulse width modulator. So PWM 0 will be there. Okay, so that's why it has near about 7 channels. So that's why PWM 0 to PWM 6 are there. Similarly you can able to see system control block will be there at the bottom right side. Its purpose is to control the system signal, generate the control system control signals. Okay, above that there is an watchdog timer. I give you brief information about that watchdog timer later on. Then there is a real-time clock will be there, RTC. So real-time clock action will be carried out with the help of this RTC block. Then asynchronous, universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter will be there. Two UART will be there. 0 and 1 name are given. Then SPI and SSP serial interface bus will be there. Then I2C bus serial interface 0 and 1 will be there. Two I2Cs bus serial communications are possible. Similarly, USB 2.0 full speed device controller with DMA facility is available, and each and every sections is a link with this VPP bus, that is a VLSI peripheral bus, and it is shared with the AHB to VPP bridge, and then it is linked with your ARM7, right? So this is about the ARM7 LPC2148 block diagram, or you can see it will be the architecture, right? Now we will see one by one what are these. Okay, so here you can see the IC structure. Okay, near about it is on 64 pin IC. So you can see these 64 pins are distributed in 4 sections. Okay, so each side will be having near about 16 lines. Okay, so this is about the LPC2148 chip. Similarly, you can able to see here it has on chip flash memory. Okay, as I given you idea about about the memory in the features, but here also it is unlisted. LPC2148 incorporate near about 32, 64, 128 or 256 and 512 KB flash memory. Similarly, it has on-chip static RAM will be there. It will be either 8-bit or 16-bit or 32-bit. Its purpose is to store the data as well as code. Generally 8 KB, 16 KB or 32 KB static RAM is available. See, memory selections is totally depend on the programmer or the designer or manufacturer or the applicant. Okay, those who are utilizing that controller. So that's why as memory will be increased, the cost of the processor will also increases. Only you have to take care what will be your requirement. According to your requirement, you can able to choose that internal memory. Otherwise, the external memory slots are available for your use. Nowadays, whatever the controllers which are available, okay, in your mobiles, laptop, personal digital assistants, everywhere you can able to see the memory will be vast. Okay, so this will be poor memory, but nowadays whatever the after 2018 many mobiles will have near about 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB or 32 GB or 64 or 128 or 256 GB memory will be available. Okay, so that's why that will be an enhancement that carried. Okay, day by day you can see there are changeability in the features. Okay, so I think here this will be the on-chip memory. You can able to see a memory map of this controller. Okay, you can see here near about 4 GB RAM. Okay, 4 GB memory will be available. Okay, now here 4 GB memory will be distributed in many sections. Okay, like volatile memory. Okay, like a flash memory, like RAM. Okay, it depends on you. Okay, so that's why entire memory, okay, and everything is shown in this slide. Okay, you can see in the left hand side the memory status will be given from 0.0 GB, 1.0 GB and up to 4.0 GB. Okay, and in the right hand side you can able to see the addresses. Okay, and in between that you can see many sections are given. Okay, these sections are highlighting you which controller will have which type of memory. So initially non-volatile memory slots are given, then resource address space will be there. Okay, then static RAM slots are available, then again DMA RAM slots will be there, and later on flash memory slots will be starting, and last you can able to see VPB peripherals as well as AHB peripheral slots are there. Okay, actually you already heard in the 8051 there is an what concept, special function registers. Okay, so that's why in that you can able to see that SFR are accommodated in the memory. So in the same fashion here also ARM7 will provide peripherals VPB or AHB peripherals to accommodate. It gives physical memory space over the memory, so that's why here also you can see that SFR concepts. Okay, and you can able to handle these peripherals very efficiently with these registers. Okay, such type of programming is not newer for you, but you already heard it in 8051. The same thing are available here also. So I think this will be enough for today's video. Okay, in next video we will go for the internal structures of these ARM7. So I will highlight most of the peripherals, on chip peripherals which are available on your ARM7. Okay, so I hope you may like this video. You have got a lot of idea from this video, so give your attendance in the comment box, chat box. Okay, as well as you can able to share my channel. Okay, you can able to share my videos with the others ones also, no problem. Okay, so thank you very much.